So I would like to welcome now Senator Mushahid Hussain, former chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee in the Pakistani Senate, and also executive member of the League. And I hope he will be able to address some of the important points and draw feedback and also experience from his, being a journalist, politician, writer, and so on. So the floor is yours, Brother Mushahid, for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Thank you, my dear brother Sayyid Ibrahim Sahib, esteemed brother from Malaysia, and I would like to compliment the Prime Minister of Malaysia, His Excellency Anwar Ibrahim, for taking a very strong, very clear position on Zionism, on Israeli expansionism, and we are proud of Malaysia and Malaysia's role, mashallah. Your Excellency Sheikh Hamid, the speakers who have preceded me, Dr. Naledi from the great South Africa, and when President Mandela came to Pakistan in May 1999, I had the distinct honor, I was then Minister for Information and Culture, to be his minister in waiting. And I spent 4 days with him. He came with his daughter, Princess Zenani, and we spent time together. And he also gave me his autographed copy of Long Walk to Freedom personally. So South Africa is a role model for us, and you have been the first to take up the cudgels for Palestine in the international courts also. Thank you, Dr. Anis Al-Qasim, for a very learned and a very clear presentation on the legal and other aspects of this crimes against humanity being committed by Israel. My friends and comrades, I would like to give first the big picture, then the content of the Israeli crimes, and then perhaps what can be the way forward in the time that has been allocated for me. If we look at the big picture, I think that there are some very important but positive changes taking place for us as supporters of the Palestine cause. And I think this is very, very important. Number one, there is a sea change in global Western public opinion about Israel. And not just in Europe, in Canada, in Australia, but even now in the United States of America. Day before yesterday, on Sunday, there was this public opinion poll published in the United States, which for the first time ever said, since the creation of Israel, that 60% of Americans now oppose Israel, criticize Israel, and only 37% support Israel. 60% oppose, majority of Americans. And majority of Americans also feel that the war of aggression launched by Trump and Netanyahu against Iran is instigated by Israel. So this is the linkage of Israel with war and how the Israeli lobby influences American politics is now become an issue even in America. And I think that is a very positive development, which is very much there. Secondly, the US-Israeli war of aggression, despite devastation of Iran, Iran has shown through its defiance that the myth of Israeli invincibility can be shattered, that when two nuclear powers, Israel and America, attacked Iran, illegally, without justification, Iran has not only stood its ground, but Iran has pounded Israel also, and also withstood the American devastation. I think the Americans and Israelis have already lost the war, not just morally, but politically as well. And also militarily, there's a stalemate. They are unable to browbeat or subdue Iran. And I think this is a very good message for the Muslim masses and people in the global South, because there was a sense of defeatism, especially in the Arab world also, that, oh, we have to recognize Israel. There was a queue. And for that, I must also compliment the freedom fighters of Palestine in Gaza. Before the Al-Aqsa storm on 7th October 2023, they said, there's no other option but to recognize Israel. And many Muslim countries were doing that. And now I think it's very clear that Israel can be given a bloody nose and Israeli can be a head back. So that is a very good sign. And I would compliment my Iranian brethren, which is a neighbor of Pakistan, that the way they have stood their ground, I think they deserves full compliments. The third aspect, which I think I'd like to mention, is the report that has come out in the Middle East Eye. Middle East Eye is a very famous publication from London on the Middle East on 11th of April. And it is called Sexual Torture of Palestinian Prisoners by Israel. And this is a report of the Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor. It's on the issue of 11th of April. And I'd like to read some excerpts of this report because this is a very, it shows the extent of crimes, which in my view have exceeded the crimes of the Nazis and the fascists in terms of their moral depravity and also the content of the viciousness of the crimes, and where they used even dogs for sexual torture. They used kidnapping Palestinian children and then raping them. And the report says, and this is a report by the Euro Mediterranean Human Rights Monitor, and I quote, and it came on 11th of April in the Middle East Eye from London. The use of torture is a policy of the state, including all institutions of Israel, political, military, and judicial, as well as parliamentary. It also includes the deliberate use of multiple perpetrators and trained dogs as instruments of sexual violence. The result is not a single act of abuse, but an extended pattern of cruelty designed to destroy dignity, bodily integrity, and any sense of safety. These are acts that defy comprehension. Victims of the attacks are filmed and often and these attacks, sexual attacks and other torture, is conducted in well-equipped institutional logistical settings intentionally designed to enable torture and sexual violence. The report said that this evidenced the institutionalized nature of the violence, which has no precedent in modern history. So I think that these are the gravity and the nature of the crimes. So
Yep.
this is the context which we are dealing with. So I would fully agree, due to the paucity of time, I would fully agree with what has been said by my esteemed colleagues, by Sheikh Hamid, by Dr. Nalandi, and Dr. Anis Al Qasim, and Razila Sayyid Ibrahim Sahib, that there is need for a mass mobilization campaign. And my suggestion would be twofold. Number one, the parliamentarians for Al-Quds should establish a special small task force led by Dr. Nalidi, where I volunteer my services and we rope in the brilliance of Sayyid Ibrahim Sahib and other people who are members of our committee, that they should plan this campaign, the outlines of which have already been listed by Dr. Nalidi in the specific points. That we follow the Mandela model, how South Africa did it. Because this is now we're dealing with apartheid regime, racist regime, fascist regime, and then the mass mobilization has to be in an organized manner. And we in the secretariat at the parliamentarians for Al-Quds in Istanbul should prepare a short 2-3 page fact sheet in English and Arabic and also Italian or Spanish or whatever languages you have, or French, and they should disseminate that this is the kinds of crimes they're committing. These are the issues, tuck, 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 so we can educate the parliamentarians, the opinion leaders, and take our case to the American Congress, to the European Parliament, to the Human Rights Council. I think this has to be a sustained campaign. It can't be one off. We have a webinar and then we have a live happily ever after. This has to be that kind of mobilization. And to do that mobilization, it needs leadership and direction, will and skill to do the job. I, as a former journalist and a person, as Sayyid Ibrahim Sab said, I come frequently on television also, and I enjoy this. In the battle of ideas, we have to give our narratives based on logic, facts, and wisdom. I think this is a challenge for all of us, and we should take it forward. And I think that given the international setting, I feel that global environment is now conducive to the perspective about the victimhood of Palestinians and the fascism and the extremism of the Zionists. So this is the strike while the moment is hot. And as there's a Latin saying, finally, carpe diem, seize the moment, seize the hour. Thank you. And I'm willing and ready and able to volunteer my services for that as best as I can. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Excellency Sayyid Ibrahim Saib.